It may not have happened in one family, but you still need to be there to support. And seeing all of your faces mean a lot to those that are here that's lost their loved ones to this senseless violence. I don't know about you, but my words are, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. So many unnecessary lives have been taken, but they have not been forgotten. They have not been forgotten because of you. Those of you that work in the community, we thank you for all that you do. Because of Mr. Brody with his passion here, you can see visually what has happened in the city of Durham. And you should be livid. You should be livid. My next question is, what will you do to try to help this with all this gun violence? I probably said too much. But we welcome you here. Again, we are so grateful to have you here to support the families that has lost their loved ones to violence.
Thank you, Annette, and I echo what she says. Welcome, truly welcome. It is important that you are here, but we do not take for granted that you are here. This is our 30th time gathering in this annual ritual of public mourning. It is our second in this somewhat less familiar time and place post-pandemic, and like every time, I know that I am speaking to people who have taken very different paths to this place. For some of us, violence is inseparable from our work in Durham. Those of you drawn into this deep communal pain by your ties of vocation, elected leaders, spiritual leaders, all those serving in unforgiving spaces where our community speaks to violent harm, hear us say that your presence here today is noticed and appreciated. Others came here grieving a loved one today, taken by violence many years ago or very recently. To you, dear ones, hear me say, hear all of us say, as many times as we need to say it, that we wish and we grieve with you that there is any reason to be here today. There are so many better reasons to come together, and yet today we have so many beautiful, precious, human reasons lost to us to be here, and we are here. Whatever you bring with you today, we give thanks for your trustworthy presence. Whether you've observed Durham's violence from a great distance or up painfully close, you are welcome here, true friend. I say this because if you've joined us on an October day to lift up 49 lives from 2021, some 9 months after we started counting all over again, then I would say that surely we are one in an essential understanding that our attention is sacred. Our attention is sacred, and we are here together today because we know that to turn our gaze on another with humility and compassion is, as one mystic put it, the rarest and highest form of generosity. And likewise, to turn that gaze away from any one immeasurable life is a sacrilege, and it's a sacrilege for which we all pay the cost. That sacred attention is our work here today. And it is no simple thing, but you are in good company. And I don't know a better way to begin further directing our sacred attention today than to give our attention to Rhonda Watson. Rhonda, will you come? This is a fierce, powerful gift of a neighbor who gives her sacred attention with faith and ferocity. Thank you for sharing with us today, Wendy.
Good morning. I want to start off by thanking the Coalition for allowing me to stand here and share my story with you all. I am the mother of I'm the proud mother of Otha Ray Watson. He was 26 years old when he was murdered. He was shot and killed on September 13th, 2020. And he left me 4 beautiful grandchildren. He had 3 boys and 1 little girl who he called Fatty Mama, and he adored her. His life was tragically taken on that day. I received a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning, people screaming and yelling, asking me where my son is. I'm in the bed asleep. Come to find out, they had shot my son at the cookout on Hillendale Road. Oh, I'm sorry. They shot and murdered my son on Hillendale Road at the cookout. Hillsborough Road, thank you. On that day, I lost my life. My world was taken away from me. And what I don't understand is the individuals that take people's lives do not understand what we go through after the fact. For days and months, I tried to kill myself because I didn't want to be here anymore. My son was my world. I loved and adored him, okay? To this day, my pain is still so real. I hurt every single day. I never knew that a heart muscle could be so painful. If it wasn't for the coalition and a few young ladies inside the coalition helping me, I don't think I would be here today standing here telling you my story. I literally drank a fifth of vodka every day. I got on the road, I got on 40, and I tried to kill myself. It just wasn't my time to go. It was time for me to be here, stand up, make sure these guys that took my son's lives get what they deserve, and for me to be here to tell my story. I hope my story helps someone. I know it's a hard, painful thing to go through. I'm still going through my grieving, but I'm in a lot better place than I was 2 years ago. If there's anything that I can do to help or assist anyone else, my door is open. But I just want to say this. We have to take back our streets. We have to get the community involved. The police can't do this alone. We all have to stand up and get these streets back. We have to stop the gun violence. We have to stop our children from being killed. It takes a village to raise a child. It's going to take a village in the community to get our streets back. Okay? There's no such thing as not tell. See something, say something. It's time for us to stand up and get our streets back. Thank you.
So we are going to turn our attention to 49 names. We're going to take stock of the immeasurable gift that our violence cast aside in each of these cases. And we're going to do that by gathering each of these names into the center of our gathering today. And I would like you to imagine gathering those stories into the center of the story we tell about our life together in this city. In the weeks leading up to today, our coalition has sought to do this in the most deliberate way, such that each name that we call aloud today and draw into our midst has already been held in silent witness near the place that life was violently snatched away. You'll find a link to that vigil meditation in your program, and I offer it up as a way in the days to come to not forget and to extend and deepen your own sacred attention to these 49 named and loved ones. And with that, I'd invite our name bearers today to begin going out to the periphery. And I want to say that while our purpose here is to claim each of these 49 as Durham's own and our own, we would be honored if anyone here present with a loved one in the Swiss would like to carry their name and to our midst today, then you can go out to the edge and find one of our marshals. They'll wave at you. They'll be glad to help you find that sign. We want to have that for you. Drawing near, the places where our violence pours forth has made clear how vast a thing it is that we're trying to gather in today. Every body is a gift to be cherished. Every named one is a loved one. Every place where a body meets a name is a site of the holy. And everywhere, we live in blithe denial of those basic truths. So faced with more than we can hold, the depths of what we have done and left undone, we are going to turn our hearts. I invite you to turn your hearts with me in a way according to your tradition toward the greatest love we know as we dedicate this time and these names. God of the land, we honor this ground, this space, and its stories. We take this moment because these names hold memory and meaning. We breathe in. The memories and the silences, the seasons and the sacred teach us to move in tandem with these stories. We ask in the name of all that is holy. Amen.
As has been our tradition, we begin the speaking of names with these three passages from the Hebrew Scriptures, two from the prophet Isaiah and one from the book of Genesis. But now thus says the Lord, the one who created you, O Jacob, the one who formed you, O Israel. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. For I am the Lord your God. I will give you treasure of darkness and riches hidden in secret places, so that you may know that it is I, the Lord, who called you by your name. Then the one said, let me go, for the day is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So the one said to him, what is your name? Hawthorne Wilkerson. Marquise Edwards. Alan Austin. Anton Baines. Corey Gooch. Kate Bruno. Timothy Jones. Samuel Hughes. John Earl Green. Ian Wells. Joshua Garner. Ander Thomas Nelson Jr. Alvin Norwood Jr. Anthony Marsh Jr. Jalen Crawford.
Breon Holloway, J.C. Jones, Jarrell Brown, Derwood Cardell Evans, Peter Luis Torres, Jr., Rashad Ahmad Adams, Fabian Jose Aldana Tesco, Marquine Padilla, Andres Marquera, Danny Jamal McClain, Rayshawn Brown, Tyree Jones, Tyshawn Chavis, Donovan Bright, Demario Ezekiel Monk, Larry Wynn Jackson Jr., Marcos Perez,
Abraham Waring, Brian Bennett, Tavis Rose, Shamari Brown, Michael Askins, Aaron Dwayne Reese, Alexa Michelle Santino, Jamal McClinton Coltrane. Joshua Lamont Johnson. Miguel Cruz. Khalik Sandberg. Isaiah Harrington. Ariuno Cotton. Saquon Payson. Omar Ravon Harry. Santiago Lopez Paz. And Dolores Burley. "49 lives was lost last year in 2021. And as you can see, we honored them this morning senselessly. At this time, I'm going to ask if we start from the end and place it on the table as you walk back to your designated areas. Thank you so much. As we've often said, we not just support families of the current year, but we will always follow our our families throughout the years ahead. So at this point, if there's a family here that has lost their loved ones to violence before 2021, if you'll come up and speak their name and the year. Larry Owens, September 12, 2016. Tavares Hall, October 18, 2018.
I'm Ms. Grandmother.
Lamar Perry, June 19, 2002. I lost two brothers in gun violence. 2016. October, November 2016. Eric Gray, Frank Clark.
My sister, Elizabeth Watson, on July 2nd, 2018.
My son, Sincere Burrell, August 10th, 2020.
My cousin, Elijah Jr. Lawrence, December the 8th, 1995.
My nephew, Reed Lateef Fowler, 2010.
Linkshaw Gooch, Kavan Cook, Siobhan Young, Corey Gooch. Four cousins.
Mom Shaw, August 31st, 2020.
Jamil Holloway, better known as Horace, 2005. We don't want to leave anyone out. We want you to speak freely. We need to feel your pain and your hurt so we can be there to support you. Do we have anyone else?
So, sometimes things go not exactly like you plan them, and that's how it's supposed to be. It was not my plan to have 49 people stand up in the midst of us and look at that, the impact of that, and I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did. What do we do when we find one another in grief such as this? What comes of paying attention when we're gathered in by so much more than we can hold? Most every conversation I have about Durham's violence ends in questions like these. Candidly, friends, I do not know. All in all, I'm still young in this work. I'm still young to this 30-year coalition. And also, speaking for and from this storied work, there are some things of which I could not feel more sure. That our two most intuitive responses to violence, principled fights and desperate avoidance, all too often serve to nurture and replicate our violence. That nothing about this pain is equitable, but every last bit of it is ours. That we are never truly gathered together like this, except we are already being sent forth. That meaningful response lies less in our ends than in our continual beginning again. And so we're going to send you forth into this violent year today, and we wanted to offer some tangible way of beginning again together, some gesture towards what it looks like to carry forward all that brought us together today. So we're going to end again by gathering in hopeful prayer around this expansive quilt. And when you get there, before you leave, we're going to ask you to take something with you. Around this quilt's edge, being placed right now, are rocks, stones. I discovered in pitching this idea to our brother Sidney that he's already done it. So you can choose whether you'd like his decorative stones or a plainer, simpler stone. But this is your rock. The one you pick up is yours. The one small thing you will carry from what we've held together today. Maybe it's a commitment. Maybe it's a deeper well, a resource. Maybe it's a weight or a memory or a hope or a prayer or a reminder or a challenge. Perhaps it's one sacred name. You know what your rock is to you. What next step it invites you to take, the place it's calling you to begin again. Maybe your rock wants you to pick up too. Maybe it wants you to find someone else and help them carry theirs. It is yours to find this rock's place in your one wild, precious life. It is no one else's but yours. And from today, you will not be carrying it alone. So I invite you to gather. I'm going to try and give you some music to walk to. And we're going to gather and pick up what is ours and what is all of ours, and we are going to unite our hearts in a city that needs united hearts. Please come. Go ahead, sister.
God of all humanity,
God of the spaces between us, the fractures within us.
of the places we now know best and the ones we've yet to discover.
God older than then, newer than now.
We stand here again today in the wake of in grief for all the sacred lives taken from us.
We are in grief for all we have taken and kept from each other.
In grief, we give thanks that there are gifts beyond our withholding.
That there are truths older and deeper than our apathy and fear.
That in our life and in our death, we belong with each other.
We are never truly alone in our sorrow joy.
that each name and everybody are stitched together with holy thread.
And standing here today, we face the full measure in this quilt of our separation.
The deep schism between what is and what should be.
Where there is separation, there is pain.
And where there is pain, there is a story.
And where there's a story
There is understanding.
and misunderstanding
Listening.
and not listening,
So may we hear today separated peoples, estranged strangers,
unfriended neighbors, divided communities turn toward each other
and leave here turned toward our stories with understanding,
and listening
with argument,
and acceptance
with
and
challenge,
change.
and consolidation.
Because if you, God, are to be found,
If peace is to be found,
if justice is to be found,
where love is still to be found in this Durham of ours,
they will be found in the space between.
where the pieces that are only ours to hold come together,
So we ask all these things humbly
and with expectation.
in the name of all that is holy. And
Amen.
the people said, Amen. Thank you for being here. Carry your rock well. Go in love. Go in peace. Go in community. Go to a community that needs the community in you today. Thank you for being part of it.
X is the letter, blue is the color, one is the number. Now is the time for a change around here. Gotta change around here. Say it loud, say it clear. We gotta change.